Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I'm gonna take on a challenge at CSSBattle.dev.
Now, I'm gonna be completely transparent here. I already completed this challenge. I just wanted to guide you through how I completed it. I also have a nice optimization tip at the end that I always use, so make sure to stay till the end. Let me walk you through how I tackled the CSS challenge step by step. Starting with the structure, first, I looked at what needed to be created and decided on this minimal HTML structure. I went with just two key elements for the circles and then a tag for the horizontal bar. The anchor tag might seem unusual, but it works perfectly as a generic container. You also notice that I use different tags for different elements. This is because I want to reduce the number of characters by not using any attributes. Next, I set up the main container. I added a border to the body element to match the design, margin 0 to remove the initial margin. Then I use display column flex with just the corner to center and align items to center to create that perfect positioning we need. At a gap of 60 pixels, spacing out the circles nicely. Remember, every pixel matters in positioning an element at CSSBattle. For the circles themselves, I kept it simple. Set the width and height to 100 pixels, added a blue background, and used per radius 50% to make them perfectly round. Nothing fancy needed here. Next up is positioning the horizontal bar. This was the trickier part here. I used position fixed with top 50% and left 50% to get the bar to the viewport center. Then translate -50%, -50% to perfectly center it. For those of you who don't know, writing translate in this way is kind of similar to writing transform::translate. Anyways, the CSS combination is super reliable and doesn't need any additional HTML wrapper elements. Moreover, the ball gets a width of 200 and a height of 40 and gets a white background and rounded corners using border radius 50 pixels to create that pill shape. This element will also act as a flex container to center the strip part inside it, so we'll also give it a display column flex. Now we can see the pill shape. Finally, for the strips inside the bar, first I set them to display column block, and I used a linear gradient on the eye element. Instead of creating multiple elements, I carefully positioned color dots on the gradient to create those alternating blue and white strips. It's a bit verbose, but it keeps HTML minimal. I could have considered using repeating linear gradient, which might have been shorter, or pseudo elements like before to eliminate the eye tag entirely. CSS grid or different centering methods could also have been options, but ultimately I went with what was in my mind at the time, as it seemed to hit the sweet spot between readability and brevity. The whole solution focused on using the least amount of HTML while keeping the CSS straightforward and predictable. Every choice was made with character count in mind. Now is the time for the trick. First of all, I removed the last closing tag before the style tag, then I removed the closing style tag, the last closing brace, and the last semicolon. Then remove all the spaces and add spaces where needed. Then finally, I remove all the next line characters like this. Now you can see this technique has significantly reduced the number of characters. And finally, let's just submit everything and see the results. 602.16. That's not bad. Let me know if you can do better in the comments. Most probably, you will. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and follow for more coding videos. Until next time, peace.